Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, wherever you are. I hope you find it in goodness. I'm Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chats, where the whole purpose of this is to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. Excuse me. So join me in comments. Let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know if you're new to the community. I really love welcoming in new people as well as saying hello to those who have been with me for a while. So come on into comments and we will get started here in just a moment. But before we get started on today's topic, I do like to go over a couple of things, especially if you are new to my work. And one is I'm not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of the words always or never, right, wrong, good, or bad. There are 7 billion people on this planet. I can't begin to say what is always right for 7 billion people. So, what I do is I work on the majority of the time, and that my scale 0, always negative, 100, always positive. So, I work on being in the 80 to 100% the majority of the time for myself personally and with people that I do with coaching and other work that I do. So, what does that mean? It means fear, disappointment, frustration, unworthiness, all of those things visit me. They're normal emotions that we go through, but because of my daily practices, I don't stay in them as long. I focus on feeling how better. I focus on what I want in my life rather than what I don't want in my life. Let me go into comments here. I see a few people joining. Um, and Kit, hello. Cindy, hello. Jania, hello from Boise. And Lisa, good morning in Ohio. And Lisa, I did hear that Chicago's getting some snow. So hopefully, when I head back on Friday, the roads will be clear by then. Um, Caraco is in the house. Edmali, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm not necessarily good at pronunciations of people's names, but I sure love seeing all the variety of names we have in the world. And that's one of the things I like about this community. It's often there are people from all over the world who are joining us in this conversation to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows. So the first thing is I'm not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of always never. You will hear me say it from time to time, but I work on the majority of the time because I don't know what is always right for you, and I don't know what's never right for you either. So we're working on the majority of the time. So keep that in mind when we go through the conversation. Secondly, I'm a coach. I love supporting people and growing their best life and whatever that looks like for them. I am not a counselor nor am I a therapist. Sometimes we need that type of support to live our best life. So I just encourage you to know that you're worthy of living your best life, whatever that looks like, and to seek the support system to help you grow it. Whether it's me as a coach, another coach, a counselor, a therapist, a clergy member, best friends, or whatever it is, create that team around you to support you in living your best life. And then what I wanted to talk about today is worry. And is it something you do a lot? So let me know in comments if you're a worrier. Let me know in comments what kinds of things you worry about, because I think it's helpful to also know what it is that you most often worry about. Now, my mom has been gone for a little over 3 years, and my dog that I had for 15 and a half years been gone for just over 2 years. Those were the two that would get me into a worry state of mind quicker than anything. And I knew that worrying wasn't going to help the situation, but it is a common, normal response for us to have to worry about people that we care about, worry about ourselves, worry about something. So let me know what you're worrying about. I'm not going to tell you worry is going to ever completely go away. I don't know that it's possible, but it is possible to lessen its impact on you and lessen its control of you by daily practices on some of the tips that I'm going to give you. And you might have other tips. Remember, these are things that have worked for me or for my coaching clients. These are not necessarily things that are going to work for everybody. So you need to be diligent in what's going to work for you. But I do encourage you to give them a try and see if they will work for you. Anxious about losing people I love, and my dogs and scared of a person in my life. Okay, well, let's talk about that as well. Yeah, to focus on the positive support, absolutely, Cindy. It's easy when things are not going well in our life, especially if it's right in front of us, to focus on the don't want, to focus on the worry, to focus on the disappointment. And it's normal and natural to do that. But the more you give that the energy, the more that you're going to grow into that energy and bring that about. So it's not about pretending there aren't things in your life to worry about or aren't negative things in your life. I don't think negativity is ever going to go away either. It's certainly not something that I promote or talk about. It is how I talk about is to focus on what I want the majority of the time. What I don't want, I still pay attention to it and it comes up and sometimes it takes control. And then I realize this doesn't feel good. What will feel a little bit better? So today we're talking about worry. And if you've not joined me before, I like to look at the definition of the word. I'm a big word person. I'm also a very sensitive word person. So I tend to choose my words carefully because I know the impact that they can have. I know the power that they can provide, especially if you're word sensitive like me. So it is something that I pay attention to. So the word worry, a feeling of concern about something bad that might happen. I want you to realize I'm emphasizing the might for a reason. A feeling of concern about something bad that might happen. We tend to give energy to something in the future, and it could be a very probable thing that's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But we are still giving it the energy for it because it might happen. So when you start to worry about things, this is tip one before we get into the tips is to really think about that. It's like, do you know for sure it's going to happen? Are you giving your energy to something that just might happen? And then we're going to look at ways to refocus on the might and bring us back into our current present moment, which for the majority of us, not everyone, there are people in this world who are right now in peril, who are right now in the moment of what worry is about. But the majority of us are not in that space right now. So it's about focusing on where you are right now. And then I like to use affirmations. This is a long one. I'll have to take a look at it when I get done with the topic here. The reason I like to stay on point is because if I go into comments right now, I will lose my train of thought. We will be here all afternoon. I don't think anybody wants to hang out with me online afternoon. So I'm going to go over our conversation here. If you have questions, pop them in comments. I will come into the comments at the end of this. And also, if you have other ideas for topics you'd like me to cover another day, please let me know that as well. If it's something I'm comfortable talking about, I will bring it to another, it might be tomorrow, for a matter of fact, but I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays to hopefully heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So, the definition worry, a feeling of concern about something that might happen. Wait, let me take that back. A feeling of concern about something bad that might happen. I like to use affirmations, and what affirmations are, it's just an affirming something. It's not a positive or a negative. You can affirm things you don't like about yourself by saying, I don't like XYZ. You're affirming the don't like. If you say, I like that I'm a kind person, you're affirming that as well. So it's really about what you want to affirm rather than what you don't want to affirm. So I use positive affirmations. Now, if I were to use that positive affirmation, because kindness is one of my main values, if I was to say, I am a kind person, or I'm always kind. Let's go with that one. I am always kind. Well, I know that's not true. I'm not always kind. I am kind the majority of the time because I've made it a daily practice. It's one of my top values to be that person, but I'm not always kind. So if I were to say I'm always kind, I'm immediately in my head saying, no, you're not. You're not always kind. So even though the statement, I am always kind, is positive, it would not be positive for me. So that's where you want to look at it being positive for you and then shifting it into something else if it's not positive for you. So today's affirmation is things work out for me better than expected. So that's to help alleviate the worry when you get into that worry state. Things work out for me better than expected. Things work out for me better than expected. Now, if you say that, that's a positive statement, but you immediately say, man, things have not been working out for me lately, then again, it's negating the positive statement. So you would want to make it into something that's believable. You might need to change it completely, or you could put these words in front of it to help. I am in the process of believing things work out for me better than expected. So now you're practicing that affirmation rather than knowing it to be true already. So it's the affirmation is things work out for me better than expected, or I'm in the process of believing things work out for me better than expected. So give those a try. If that doesn't make sense to you or work for you, I do encourage you to come up with your own affirmations to say, to write down, to look at, because it's to replace those negative thoughts that we're just kind of unconscious about in the back of our heads that we use to make decisions with, because it's things that have been said to us over the years, things we've said to ourselves over the years. So affirmations are to help replace those thoughts for yourself. So now let's get into tips on worry. And one of the things that helped me, because again, as I said, my mom and my dog were two things that, even though I knew worry wasn't going to help me, those were two things because of their health issues in the end stages of their life. I could easily go into worry, and I had to remind myself worry is a lower energy. It is a heavy energy. It's not a supportive energy. It's not a solutions energy. It's just a stuck energy of, as it says, focusing on the bad that might happen. Not necessarily is going to happen, could, but we're focused on something that might happen. My mom would cough. I'm already focusing on, oh no, we're going to have to go to the hospital. We're not there yet. So I was focusing on the end result being bad when I didn't know the end result was going to be bad. So I hope that makes sense to you. So know that, and one of the sayings that I don't know who said this, but I've heard it many, many years ago, you cannot worry and love at the same time. Now, perhaps in other parts of the world, this is not true. So I don't know. But I know that here in the US, a lot of people were taught that when you worry about somebody, you're showing that you love them. Be careful, be safe driving in this because you're showing that you care and love them. Actually, worry is a lower, heavier energy. So when you go into that natural response to worry about people, again, it's natural. It's probably going to happen even after you start practicing, but it's about going into what you want. So your focus on the worry is I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to be sick. I don't want them to lose their job. Focus on what you do want for them or for yourself. Focus on sending love instead of worry to somebody when you're worried about them. Just with the awareness of the worry will allow you to go, oh, wait a second. This is not solutions based. This is not supporting them or helping them in any way. It is a lower energy. It doesn't feel good to worry. So I am going to go from where I'm at to feeling a little bit better. What feels a little bit better to me? Sending love to somebody feels a little bit better to me. What feels a little bit better about worrying about a test that's coming up? Maybe studying a little bit more. There's so many different things you can do to shift from that worry to going into a little bit more of a loving space. So the awareness of it is key because when you're aware of how you feel, then you know this feels good, you keep going. And if it doesn't feel good, it's not about pretending it's not there. There are many things in this world that we can worry about. Many of them are justified and valid, but it is about where you want to be. So if it doesn't feel good, what small steps can you do to feel a little bit better about it? So that's the tip one. And then another tip is it are you worried about something you have control over? A lot of times we worry about national things, global things, things in our companies that we don't personally have control over. So you're giving away your energy to something that you can't change. Now, with all of those things, the more that we're individually coming from a loving space and doing our part in making those things better, then that's helpful. But if you're taking on the whole world's problems and worrying about the whole world's problems, again, you're more than likely, not always, but more than likely focused on what you don't want. And often we don't go into the solution base from blame, shame, and complaint. So think about that when you're focusing on worrying about the national debt, fires all over, whatever. Think about what you can do personally to step forward to making a little bit better, not taking on the entire world's problems as one person. Because generally, when we do that, we shut down and don't do anything because it's so big, we can't imagine that one person can make a difference. But I assure you, one person, then one person, then one person, then one person does make a difference. Um, I should know this quote because it's one that I built Positive Focus on, but I'm going to have to, I don't know it word for word, but it's never doubt the impact of a small, committed group of people can make. For indeed, they are the ones that make the difference. And it's Margaret Mead. It's not exactly what she said, but it's about the small groups of people can make that impact. So if there's something you worrying about that you don't have control over, look at ways that you can control and make some moves forward into helping that solution and releasing the worry, because worry is a lower energy. It's not going to bring you to where you want to be. And then another tip is to give yourself a timeline on worrying. Like, again, I don't want you to pretend that you don't have something to worry about, because generally that comes back and it wants to be heard. It wants to be acknowledged. It's a part of you. And so it wants to know that it's going to be okay. So, depending on the size of your worry, maybe you just got some lab results in and haven't had a chance to talk to your doctor yet. That's an easy thing to go into overdrive and worry. So give yourself some time to feel that and acknowledge your fear and worry about it, and then do something to step out of that, because the worrying itself is not going to bring you to the solutions. It's going to keep you in that scared, uncertain space that is just not helpful to be in there. Doesn't mean, again, majority of the time, it does not mean you're not going to go into that space. I just encourage you not to live in that space. And then when you do get, like, let's say you've given yourself a timeline, depending on the topic, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 2 hours, and you can't seem to get out of that worry space, focus on something completely else. Get away from that topic, go take a walk, go put some music on and dance, get those endorphins going that will help you create and get out of that worry space as well. And then breathe. Breathing is such an important way to recenter yourself and go back into your body in this moment. So just take some deep breaths. I like to do 3 to 5, depending on what's going on. But like, inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and repeat that a few times. Sometimes I do it where I'm inhaling love, I'm exhaling love. I'm inhaling peace, I'm exhaling peace. So when you get into that monkey mind, and I'm not sure why they call it a monkey mind, but you hear that statement all the time. So when you get into that scattered thinking and you're kind of getting out of control and worry, take some deep breaths and go back into the I choose peace now. I am peace now. I focus on love. Do something like that to recenter yourself there. And then another one is to challenge your worry thoughts. Like, sometimes we just let them take over, and like, is it true that this is going to happen? Like, do you know for certainty? It's kind of a Byron Katie thing. Do you know for sure that this is going to happen? So take away some of the power you're giving to worry, because it's usually a future event. Often we're worrying about something that we don't have control over. And often it's not going to happen, or not going to happen in that way. So again, the affirmation of things work out, um, always work out better for me. Did I just say the word always? Now I got to go back and look and see what I said for the affirmation today. Things work out for me better than expected. I was hoping I didn't use the word always in my affirmation. And so think about that too, to challenge those worries. And is worrying about this helping you? Is the worrying feel good to you? Again, I'm a majority, 0 to 100. So for some people, worrying may be something that feels good. I suspect it feels good because we've been conditioned to think worrying is supporting loved ones, when rather worrying is a lower energy. It's not a wrong energy, it's just a lower energy. So think about that too. And then turn it around any way that you can when you're worried about something. Like I said earlier, you're worried about your mom, you're worried about your pet, you're worried about your job, your husband, your wife, your best friend. Take a moment, take some deep breaths, and then send them love. See whatever you're worried about them working out better than expected, and hold that space, because it's still a future event. So you don't know. It absolutely could turn out better than expected, or it could turn out in the thing that you're worried about. But the more you're focused on what you want in it, you're giving that the energy to grow, rather than giving the energy of fear to grow and worry to grow. Natural things to experience. I hope you don't take away from this that if you're worrying about anything, that you're wrong or bad or doing it wrong. I absolutely worry about things in my life, and I'm aware of it, and it doesn't feel good to me, so I move to feeling a little bit better. The majority of the time I am not in the space of worry. Sometimes worry grips me and like takes me for a little ride. And I'm like, this doesn't feel good. What can I do right now to feel a little bit better? I've been doing these daily practices for years, so I shift quicker. It may take a while for it to shift in you, but I promise you, if you practice it and keep practicing it and keep practicing it and shifting and reframing those worry thoughts into something a little bit better, I'm not gonna say always because there's gonna be some people out there that it doesn't work for, but I'm pretty confident that the majority of people with some practice will release worry from being a majority of the time experience. Don't think it's gonna go away completely, but I do think you can get it under the 50, under the 40, under the 30% of the time that you're worried about things or people. So think about that worry is a future event where we're expecting something bad to happen, but we don't know for sure it's going to happen. So we're giving our attention to something that we're not even sure is going to happen. Worry is about something we possibly don't even have control over. So ask yourself, is my energy I'm using on this worry, what could I do instead of worry? Maybe it is send love to that situation. Maybe it's not pretending that situation doesn't exist, but for a moment stepping away from that situation and go watch something funny, go on a walk, go dance, do something that gets your mind out of that space for a moment. So then when you come back into it, you have a new perspective. So that is what I have for you today. I hope this works. I see several comments coming in. I'll have to see if some of these. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Worrying isn't good for your overall health. And that is absolutely true as well. So thanks, Brian, for that. Um, and just so everybody knows, sometimes I don't see all the comments while I am live. So if I miss something, I will definitely look at them later. Shafiq, I hope I said that right. Welcome. Thanks to have you here. Igrak, let's see, being broken and anxiety about it comes from the fear of one's own existence. But realistically, in this society, where basically any job will provide you food, shelter, let's see, I've just lost it here. Fear is the root of worries for sure, but it's also a normal thing. So I think, and it's a different thing too. If you're in survival mode from not like if you have food, you have shelter, you have the basic necessities, then it's a different story than if you are in survival mode. Worry is going to certainly live in that survival mode space far more than it's going to be outside of that space. So again, I just want to make sure people know I'm not saying worrying's wrong. I'm just saying it's not going to be as helpful for you as if you look at it for what it is, feel what you need to feel, listen to it because it wants to be heard, and then move to feeling a little bit better about it. Hi, Lynn. Good to have you here. Linda, welcome. Jules, good. I'm glad I turned in today. Oh, good. I'm glad you did too. Um, and Grok, I'm going to have to read your comments. It looks like you put some amazing ones in here, but they're a little longer that I would just stumble over them. So I will respond to you after as well. It's proof that our higher purpose is really listening and led me to randomly finding you today. Welcome, Cindy. Well, I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Different topic each day, but it's all about heightening celebrations and lessening sorrows. If you have a topic you would like me to cover, just put it in comments and I will come back later. I don't know that I've had somebody recommend a topic. Well, maybe there has been a couple when people have talked about brain injuries and how to deal with that. I have zero knowledge of that. So I can talk about being kinder and gentler and more loving to yourself, but that's a topic that is way out of my expertise. So I would not want to give incorrect information to. When I share information here, the vast majority is things that I've done personally or I know somebody who has done it. And even then, I would say, I've not done it, but a good friend uses this technique. I'm not going to try to convince people or encourage people to do something that I'm personally not aware of. Even if it's something that I'm pretty sure is really good, I would still probably tell you I've never tried it before, but it looks like a good thing to try. So I'm going to share my knowledge and my wisdom from what I've learned over the years in the work that I do. Let's see. I think I have gotten to everybody. If I've missed you again, I don't always get to see these. Ben from Florida. I'm in Florida right now. What offer you for a pessimist person? Ben, was it yesterday, Ben? I talked about negativity. If you want to go back and listen to that, um, that's probably I can come up. If you have a particular example, I can probably talk about it again next week because that's what I'm here about. Positive focus. And again, pessimism, negativity, disappointment, frustration, anger. None of those are wrong. It's how much attention do you want to give to them? They are all there to serve a purpose. And part of that purpose is to say, this isn't what I want. So, what do I want? Sometimes we stick in the don't want and feed that energy and blame, shame, and complain, which is a natural thing. I'm not a shamer. Those are way strong words for me. So, shaming is not something I do, but I've certainly complained and I've certainly blamed. So, when I'm stuck in that space of blaming and complaining about something, probably am not focused on solutions. I'm giving the energy of what I don't want my attention rather than looking for what I do want. And being in that energy of what you don't want's not wrong. It's how long do you want to stay there? Pay attention to how you feel and pay attention to how you want to feel. Pay attention to how you want to show up, especially on social media. And please, everybody here, I'm so incredibly grateful that I don't even know if it's 1% of the time. I just really don't get mean feedback. I certainly get people who disagree with me, totally fine, but I don't get those mean comments from people that aren't thinking about the fact that there's a person that is receiving those. So when you're sharing from anger on social media or talking to somebody, ask yourself, is this who I want to be? You may want to be mad. We all have that, but do you want to spew that on other people? So it's just about looking at being aware of how you feel and aware of how you want to feel and moving forward to feeling a little bit better. Hope I explained that okay. Let's see. I think I've Amy dealing with fake people. Okay, that is an interesting topic. Let me write it down because I will forget as soon as we get off of this. I like that topic, Amy. Thank you for that. I might cover it tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. So, but it will either be covered tomorrow or sometime next week, I am sure. Fear, false emotions appearing real. I like that, Fifi. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I trust the process because I found you by chance. Oh, nice. Okay, it looks like I have covered everyone. And again, sometimes I don't see the comments until I come back later in the day. So if I've missed you, it was not intentional, and I will come in and check later. Thank you for being here. And remember, worry and love cannot exist together. You can go from worry to love in a nanosecond. My mom, I love my mom. Oh my gosh, I'm worried about her. I love her. I'm worried. I love her. I'm worried. I love her. I'm worried. So it's not to say that it can seem like they can go together, but really it's a different energy that you can switch back and forth. So the more you practice being in the space of love, you're going to lessen the time you're in the space of worry. Again, I just think a lot of us have been conditioned to show love by worrying about someone. So think about that when you're talking to somebody and wish them well. See the best outcome for them. Send them love. When you get into that worry space, ask yourself, why am I worried about this? Do I know it's true? What can I do to feel a little bit better and move on from there? So thank you, thank you, thank you for being with me today. I so greatly appreciate it. I love seeing all the comments. And if you have any other topics, I did write yours down, Amy. If anybody else if anybody else typed any in there, I will check later to see to make sure I didn't miss anything. And we'll be back tomorrow, 11:30 Chicago time. I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11:30 Chicago time. I will be heading back to Chicago, driving Friday. So right now, Chicago's got lots of snow. I'm hoping the roads are cleared up by the time I hit the roads on Friday and Saturday when I get back home. So have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Love more, worry less. Be gentle with yourselves in the process of growing your love muscles for life. That's why I call this embrace your life. It's easy to embrace the good parts. Let us start embracing the harder parts, the challenging parts, the worrisome parts and the scary parts of us too. And then we'll be able to move forward with a little bit more love, kindness, compassion, and peace for ourselves and each other. So go out there and have a great day. Remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. We'll talk soon. So long for now.